Alright, tonight we're sitting outside, family's inside. Got the porch light on so I can record, but sitting around a fire. Just was out at my friend's house and we had a little fire going there, and it's like, sounds like a good idea. And I just started thinking, boy, this is nice and hot. So I went in the house. Can't see them very well, but got 3 big potatoes and put about 3 tablespoons of butter in there and 3 layers of aluminum foil around that, and I'm gonna sit them right in next to my fire. Gotta put enough aluminum so it doesn't melt through. Alright, let's find another hot spot right here. Alright. Now let's find the third one. Put it right down there. Alright. I'm gonna cook us some potatoes over the fire. Do this with corn on the cob too. Just put some butter in there and wrap it in aluminum foil. These potatoes, you can check them by sticking a fork through the aluminum and seeing if they're tender enough. It's gonna be about, half hour or 45 minutes before they're done. But it's nice and hot, so they will come out very good. Nothing like sitting outside around a campfire, though. Up that road behind me that's got all those cars on it right now. Everything's wet, so they're nice and loud. It's been raining for a couple weeks, so my wood pile outside's kind of wet, so got a nice fire going right away, and then put some more wood on there and it all died down because the rest of the wood was wet. So finally put a big old pile on there. Now it's got a big fire, and now it's drying all the wood out as it burns, so now it's going good. One thing nice about these fire pits, you get to sit in your backyard or wherever and just enjoy it. You can sit out with your family or by yourself. My pad or my phone, I can sit there and watch Netflix or whatever. It's weird, but it's kind of entertaining to stare at the fire and watch the fire burn the wood. I guess we all got a little arson in us. Arsonist. Alright. It is Sunday night. Christmas on Tuesday. Woohoo. Got a new thing coming up. I already had an ACDF surgery. That's anterior cervical disc fusion, whatever. But it did okay. My arm was going to where it was completely numb. Injured that in 2015. Took 6 months for the insurance company to approve the operation. Finally got that, and then my arm, stopped falling dead on me. And the problem is, it went on to the next disc in my neck. So now I got another surgery coming up pretty soon. So I guess I can do some follow-up videos on that and let everybody see how that goes. I already got a plate and screws in my neck and cadaver bones, and gonna go back. They're gonna take out that plate, pull out another or the second disc down, and put in a bigger plate. So you lose even more mobility of my neck. Fun. Just keeps on going. So and then they'll put more cadaver bones in there, so I'm gonna be 3 people. All in one. Told everybody after my first operation that, because my neck really never hurt, it was just pinching the nerve and it was making my arm go dead. But after the operation, my neck was hurting like crazy and it just wouldn't stop. Even away, 2 years after the operation, it's like, oh, just still hurt. So I was telling everybody, well, those bones they put in my neck, those cadaver bones, probably from a woman, and she's being a real pain in the neck. So yeah, in a couple more weeks I'll go back under for surgery again. They wanted to do it on the 20th, right before Christmas, and I'm like, yeah, no thank you. I didn't want to be all bedridden for all through Christmas. 'Cause we got probably a 60-mile drive from the hospital to home, and I'll tell you, that first one, any little tiny bump in the road, you feel it in your neck. When they get in there and they cut out all those, or some of those support muscles, it's like, oy, you feel it every time your head moves. That was my cell phone. Anyway, I'm gonna put a couple more little logs on there. Now to keep it nice and warm. Now that I got potatoes on there. Woo! Man, there was some pitch in that one. Can't remember what my friend called that. There's some kind of wood, not greenwood. Can't remember what the wording was. It's got where there's bunch of pitch embedded in the wood, and it just pretty much explodes, and it makes great fire starter. You can see there was a lot of it in that piece of wood. It's like there's gas coming out of it. Wow. Those pieces are probably 1.5 inches wide by 2.5 inches or so, 2 inches. Oh, that's crazy. It's not very hot on this potato over here, so I'm going to move it over to this side. Keep them all right in the heat. That's one thing about this fire pit, though. It's all right, but around the sides, it's all open. So a lot of it doesn't really get that warm, even with that much fire and all the coals in the bottom. Man, about sizzle. Okay. Now, if it had more solid sides on it, then it would actually get a little bit hotter, because then it would hold some of that heat in there. I had to leave for a couple minutes. Now I'm back. What I like about this fire pit, though, even so it doesn't get so hot, you can actually put your hands up here on the railing, or you can put your feet up there. And it'll warm up, keep your legs and warm, or feet nice and warm. But like I said, it doesn't get hot, so it's not the greatest for cooking with or producing heat to stay warm. Needs to be, like I said, more closed around it. That's why I put a barrel on that back side, laid down in a barrel. That was helping reflect some of the heat. I didn't think of what I could put around this. Help hold in some of that heat. Anything to block the airflow, and I said even that, putting that barrel there has helped quite a bit. My legs are getting nice and warm. Nice and comfy this way. Just gotta make sure your pants don't catch on fire. So this is what I'm doing for a couple hours, just sitting out here enjoying the fire. Maybe one of these nights my friend will come down here and him and his family can sit around the fire. He's got a nice little fire pit. It's one of those little portable barbecues. It's probably 18 inches long and 10 inches wide or so. One of those little gas ones. But he barbecue, but he's took out all the barbecue parts to it, so it's just the base of it. And that's what he uses for his fire pit. It actually is kind of at least just as warm as this one, maybe a little bit warmer. That's one thing nice about having the sides, because then it can build up all those coals in there. This one has a rack in the bottom, and then all the coals drop down through instead of the wood sitting in it. So that's another reason it's kind of harder to keep these ones burning. It's because the logs don't actually sit in the red coals underneath. So I'm probably going to take that rack out of there and let it all sit. I got sand in the bottom. Let it sit on this, just the fire sit on the sand and the wood. So when it does it or you do it this way, all that the hot coals falls down through the grate, and it's harder to keep your logs burning. You have to, if had a fire for a while, to build up a big pile down there to actually keep enough heat to keep everything going good. Hey, it's not too bad of a winter so far this year. I hope it stays pretty mild. Alrighty, I hope everybody else is having a good night. This is how mine's going. I find it quite relaxing just to sit around the fire. Stay nice and warm. Actually, I could go to sleep right now. Wouldn't be too bad either. Alright, everybody. Have a good night.